All right, it says you've started screen sharing, but I don't. There it is. There it is. Okay.
I actually haven't had time to look at this since I sent my emails out.
Well,
I looked at it a little bit and I'm very puzzled about their radiuses. I've never heard of a 22-foot radius.
well, they didn't have any radius on theirs at all. They just went point to point to point, and they put that little envelope around it, and they just had a like a 25-foot and a 15-foot, I think it was. Not a 15 and 25. If you load up, let's see, if you load up, let's see if we look at this one. Yeah, you see this right here?
Yeah.
All they did was they went actually point to point. In fact, if we go to this one, you see that was their center line, no curves.
Yeah, that's what I gave them.
Yeah, that's exactly the one you gave them, and that's all they did. And then
Okay.
all they did when they did this is they let me see the let's look at curve data. So you see that curve right there, it's got a 10-foot radius, and this one has a 35-foot radius. So halfway between that 10 to 35, that would be in the center that 10 to 35 is 25, half of that's 12 and a half, or 12 and a half. So 10 plus 12 and a half is 22 and a half. That's what I did, was to keep that concentric with the envelope.
Yeah.
But that really shouldn't be. That should be probably 50 feet. See if we had let's see if we've got. Turn this back off. And if we look at that, let's go back to survey. And if we draw that centerline file, did you not put those CL files in your folder?
They are in the folder. Yes.
Is it this McCreary? Is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're not showing here.
Oh, wait a minute. I put the DWG file.
Yeah, you should have put those others in there too.
Okay, well, I can do that real quick.
All right.
I didn't realize what they were. I've never used the centerline command, centerline function.
Yeah, it's all I did was take their drawn center line and turn it into a centerline file, and that's the file I sent you. So in case you didn't have your center line, you would be able to reconstruct it. There we go. So now, see, right now it's just a drawn piece of line.
Yeah.
And so, and even if you didn't have it, like I just got rid of it there, let me also get rid of these. Then we could have come in here and just said centerline, draw centerline file. And then that would be this one. And there that is. Now that's on a layer called C-line. And we might as well give that a centerline line style. So, so there's that. In fact, they've got two pieces of it here, you see, without they're parallel. They're just in a line that really needs to have that line taken out. That point right there doesn't need to be there. But if we fit a curve in there, you know, something a little more reasonable, that would put a 50-foot curve there. We come up to here and let's put another curve in there. Let's see if we can get a 50-foot in there. It might not be enough tangent. Yeah, it looks like it is. And then if we save and exit, then now there you've got two 50-foot. And if you then were to create that right of way there, that whatever that happens to be, what is that?
Well, the right of way has to be 50 feet, so I don't know where they came up with that 25. I don't.
Yeah, that's a little.
25 is way too big for the kind of road that they're putting in there. This is just a little subdivision.
Yeah, and see, they've got these like these little pavement returns out here. They're huge. You know, if we look at that, look at that curve, you see that's got a radius of 25 feet on this curb return or this pavement return, if you will. But then this is just 10 feet. And that if this is 50 and this is 25, then that one really should be, you know, so they went, what did they go? I think it's just 25 feet total. Yeah, so 25 feet. So if we offset that 12.5 feet either side, so that would be, you know, a much bigger radius right here. And that one would be 37.5. And the other one, of course, would be, you know, 50 into 62.5. Yeah, there's your 62.5 right there. So that's the shape that should actually be in. And that would also change the radius out here. You see how it's different a little bit.
Well, for my purposes, I'm going to kind of ignore what they've done. What their goal is to satisfy the highway department as far as the entrance criteria is concerned.
Yeah.
And I don't, let me show you here what I'm trying to end up with. And I think I've showed you this before. This is the piece of road coming in there. This is drawn by the client.
Right.
And this is what he hopes to end up with. And he's done a couple of things that I don't agree with, like he's running the road, center of the road down this tree line. And that's going to make construction problems, I think. That's probably all rock, which is why the tree line is there, would be my guess. So what I'm thinking is to put the edge of the right of way, let me see if I can. Let's see, what is this? Okay, that's not letting me do anything. Yeah, okay. So I've kind of shifted that boundary over, and my thinking was to put the edge of the right of way along this line and put the whole road right of way over on this side, instead of making it a cul-de-sac like that, make it one of those offset cul-de-sacs like that. What do you think?
Well, could be. I mean, it's hard to say, and it's hard to really know what's out there. But, you know, with the tree line being the tree line, uh, you know, it's just
That looks like a farm lane down there along
yeah,
the side of the tree line.
right. So, you know, it may or may not have anything to do with rock under there. So I don't know. Is this line right here, this one, is that this one, is that just sort of arbitrary?
Yes.
So I'm wondering, do you want to split this exactly in half? You know, if we ride the midpoint to the midpoint, you know, or basically subdivide this square into two equal areas, you know, is that what we want to do? Or
I think that's what his goal was. He hasn't expressed that, but that's what it kind of looks like.
yeah, so if this right now is, well, that's the overall boundary, right?
Right.
And that exists. We're not going to alter that, right?
Correct.
Okay, so this, what about this line? This is,
That's just arbitrary. That's what he picked. He has negotiated to sell this front lot as one piece from
okay,
that point to that point.
from that corner to this corner down here. Okay,
Yeah, right.
so what we're going to want to do is we want to make a dividing line that's going to divide this interior spot. And like, looks like this line, let me see. This line is not exactly on this corner. See, this point is
Yeah, I
off.
probably picked the wrong point.
Well, I mean, we can move it to here if you want.
Well, I don't know what it is. Let's just move the line to there and leave the point where it is.
Okay, so we'll move this line to the center of this one. All right, so there's the center of that, but it's not.
No. I mean, move it to that intersection.
Move this to here.
Yes.
Okay, that's where it was. It's just at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what that point is. I'll have to investigate that.
Okay. All right, but these lines out here are good, so we can call that corner and you can resolve that point or whatever.
Right.
So what we want to do is, well, let's freeze this image here for a minute to give us a little working room. And so what we want to do then is to have, we want this around here and then coming back and closing back to here as a sort of a working parcel. So, so I'm gonna put this on. Let's put this on. Let's make a new layer just so we're clear. We're gonna call this layer. Call it C dash boundary just for yucks. Might as well leave it white. And we'll give it a little bit of weight here so we can see it. And then we'll set their current. And what I want to do to be able to pick up all of these corners, you see, I'm going to trace around that. So we're going to draw Yeah, all right, so go ahead now and draw a 2D polyline. And use your current drawing properties, that's fine, and say, okay. And now pick on the corner of that new closing line up there, right there where you're getting close to it. Right there, click. And go click up there to that one, click. And now, before you do anything else, type the letter F to follow. You see it in your options down there? Okay. Now pick the overall boundary. That's the one we're going to follow. All right, and now it says pick the first follow point. So now go back and grab that end point. No. Right back where you started there, click. And now answer the question, interpolate the follow vertices elevations. No, we don't need those. And now pick the last point, and that's going to be all the way back around where you started. So you're going to click there and then watch the screen. Now, you see it highlights, because that's a closed figure. It could have gone to the left and gone around, and got the front parcel, or it could have gone to the right. And right now it says, is this correct? Yes or no. And just to show you what it does, type in for no, and you see it shows you the other route, and it says, is this correct? So say no to that again. And now it says, is this correct? And yes, that's correct. And now type C to close. Okay, so now we have a parcel that, a boundary that, and if we select that, you see how it picks up all of those little vertices in the middle. We didn't have to snap. Well, of course, we only had the one here and one here, I guess. So that was okay. So, but that's how to use that additional tool.
Okay.
Okay. And so we're going to subdivide that. And we're going to need to start on this corner. So let's take this line and let's go ahead and while we're still at this, on this layer and everything, let's go ahead and draw another 2D polyline and stay on your current properties. Okay, now just go endpoint to endpoint. Click and then click up there and hit enter. And now let's isolate the new layer that we've just drawn. Sorry, Jim. Okay, so now we have this new line that we copied, and we have this other thing that we've created. This corner is going to stay, so we want to divide this in half, and we want to have this to be we want this line to swing so it hits back here to where it divides this exactly in half. Okay, and we're going to do that with some of these area tools. And just for yucks, let's see what our area is here. And we'll say, okay, it's going to put that here so it's there wrong. And let's give it a paper text type, something big so we can see it. All right, so we have 136, so 136.4. So we want that to be half. The reason I put that number down, because we may need to type that number out. I don't remember the command now. So let's go to the area layout menu and choose adjust areas. And we want a hinged area. Okay. And we define the area by point or a closed polyline. Well, we have a closed polyline. So let's say line work. select the polyline segment to adjust. You're going to adjust that middle segment. Select the hinge point. Okay. Keep existing polyline. Go ahead and say yes, just for yucks right now. Now, remainder yards, acres, enter target area in square feet. So, yeah, that's what I thought. We're going to have to know that distance or that area. So let me do this calculation. So 5943, 221, 2 divide. So we want to type in 2971.
I'm sorry, say
Yeah.
again.
2971 610.5 and hit enter. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? We don't even need this. Here's the problem. We don't need this line. All right, so we'll repeat that. Oops, escape. All right, escape that. So now let's repeat that command here. Hinged area by line work. The polyline segment. Oh, wait a minute. No, actually, you know what we need to do is need to put that back. Okay, now. So what we need to do now is to make each of these their own separate closed polylines. And we're going to do that with this command called boundary poly. It's like a hatch command. And we're going to call this C-B. We'll put it on that layer. We'll pick inside. We'll pick one here. And then we're going to pick one here. Okay, so now we've got this one, and I'm going to change it to be green, and we'll make it a little heavier. We'll do the same thing with this one, and let's make it blue and also heavier. All right, so now we need to make, and it doesn't matter which one of these that we pick. So we're going to do this hinged area by line work. And so if we pick this segment, let's say change the green one. We'll set the hinge right there, and we'll say keep the existing, yes, and the target area we had at 2971.610.5. So you see what it did? It shifted it up a little bit there. And so let's say we're just going to draw it as a line. All right, so now this is our new line that splits that right in the middle.
Okay.
Okay, so we can actually now get rid of these two things if we want. And might as well get rid of this too. And then we'll restore our layers. And we'll take this line and just move it up to here. And now we can get rid of this white one. All right, so now there it is exactly in between. These two are now equal in area. Okay,
Okay.
so then we can run our roadway up, put a cul-de-sac on the end if we want, or what have you. And we're going to come off of here to at some point get to that. So how many parcels does he want?
12 is what he's got on the, ultimately he's going to end up with 12.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 12 counting the one at the front.
Yeah.
So these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Does he want those all to the line work to line up across from each other? Are they all going to be equal area, or
Uh, he hasn't really said. They don't look like equal area.
yeah, they don't.
It looks like he's picked physical features
Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it?
uh, to line them up with.
Yeah.
And I
Looks
don't,
maybe 4 and 5, he maybe split the difference between where 3 and 6 goes. So yeah, that looks like maybe. All right, so we can do that. Let's go back to here and let's turn our picture back on. And then we can just draw a 2D poly. Whoops, didn't I say two? That was 3D, sorry. Let's draw 2D. Use current. All right, so he was basically like along this, well, maybe, oh, let's go back to that picture again. Okay, not there, but here. Okay. So what I would do then for that is I would draw this, and I would just basically just sort of scoot that in there. And notice I'm not going to the edges yet. We're going to be able to fix that in a minute. We'll do all this. There. Looks like he had one. I think it was here. Oops. Ah. And this one, maybe put this a little bit. So that now, a couple of things to consider. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1 out here, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go back to our picture. I missed a couple. So he split these two. So he goes from this edge, basically splitting there. That edge probably goes all the way across. And then he went sort of here and then sort of here. And then this looks like, gosh, I don't know. I wonder if you see this purple line back here.
Yeah,
Wonder if he intended that to be that line. Does he?
I don't think so. I think that's just a tax map line.
Well, yeah, but I mean, see, there's nothing in the picture that he's really lined up with. But it looks like he's maybe sort of on there, but same thing, see this one where it hits
Yeah,
here?
I do see that.
So. I don't know. Just depends on what is in, and these are all going to family members.
Yes.
So I would think he would want them to be equal areas, but
No, they sure don't look equal.
no, they don't. I just see it just depends on his intent. Because we can make them equal, we've got tools to be able to do that. We can,
Yeah,
just,
no, I don't think he has any intent of making them equal. He wouldn't be that far off in his drawing.
yeah. All right, so if he's coming off those. Tax parcel lines. But see, he's not on it up here. That's why I don't understand. That looks like he's trying to line up on the trees.
Yeah, and so does the one to
This one here,
that one does too.
and this one here, and then
Yeah.
this one.
And the one between 7 and 8 looks like it's definitely on a tree line.
Yeah. So 7 and 8, 6 and 5. So I think if we go back to here, we've got, oops. So this one was not that. This one was, say, this one, I believe.
Looking for the picture.
Yeah. Oh, that
it was this tree line, not this one.
Was that one. Okay, so. Don't do that then. So there's that one. And then 5 and 6 we got, although he shows all the trees in 6. Okay, we've got that. And then he's got right down the tree line for this one, this one. Oh, it looks really well established there. And these. Now, he's also got we'll split this one here in a minute, but he's also got, they look like they're all sort of parallel.
Yeah.
And maybe, parallel to this back line or roughly there.
Right.
So, and that makes a cleaner subdivision, but, you may stray off a tree line. So, because you see this line here is obviously not parallel to this line.
Right.
And they don't, they're drawn sort of like they could be. So, without knowing his actual intent, I don't know what to
Should I
do.
call him up and clarify that before we go through this exercise?
Yeah, we could. Now, he also may want, because of this, now we split this in two with this dividing line, but maybe we want to run this tree line instead. Just like you had it the first time out, except we got to start at that corner. We don't want a little offset there. So if we did that, Or we could, come straight down to here and put a bend in it and go up, but you don't want that either necessarily. So yeah, my original thinking when we talked about dividing this into two equal halves, I was thinking that when I first saw this, that maybe he was intending to have equal area parcels on either side, but that's apparently not the case. All right. Yeah, I mean, a phone call wouldn't hurt to clarify, and like, if he knows, oh yeah, I want to keep that tree line so that just so this guy didn't have to clean out a bunch of trees if he wants to go all the way up to his property. If this were back, along that tree line like you had it originally, something like that, and that would be a little bit more in keeping with that potential intent. And then we could extend that, and we'll make that into our roadway, and then the lots will split off of either side of the road evenly. Of course, that means to build the road, he's going to have to move the trees. I wonder what that line right there.
What's your schedule look like for the rest of the week?
Oh gosh, Mike, I'm so hopefully so hopelessly behind the eight ball and a bunch of stuff. I just might as well just say I'm free. Tomorrow,
Maybe the thing to do is for me to call him up and have a conversation with him. He's not that easy to get because he's a fairly high level local banker.
Yeah. No,
So I've got to go through three layers to get to him.
That's true. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we've canceled the class I had Thursday and Friday, so those 2 days are both free. Tomorrow is not good. Wednesday is I've got a morning at 9 o'clock, shouldn't take more than about an hour.
Wednesday's not good for me. Why don't we just set it for Thursday morning?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'll get these questions clarified in the meantime.
Yeah, I would call him up, and you know what I would do too is take a, you can take a little screen grab of this to show him what it looks like, and explain to him that red line is running down the tree line. Or in fact, let's do this. I'll put it back like that, and then we'll put another line from here and sort of run down the trees. And then let's extend that one. So what we're going to do then is if you share this picture with him, you can explain to him that this red line splits this exactly in two. The white line runs down the tree line. And, what does he intend to do? Does he want the roadway to go right down the middle and keep the lots fairly evenly divided, or just find out what his intent is? He may, sometimes people like that, they'll just sketch something out and say, here, just make a bunch of lots. Yeah, right. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we can do that. We can decide, let's say, let's get it real quick. So we could get lots of about 500,000 square feet or 10-acre lots. Is that right? Yeah. You know, we could say, all right, subdivide each of these into 10-acre pieces. You know, and have it put things in exactly, you know, parallel and evenly split and all that kind of stuff, and coming off the edge of the road in the cul-de-sac, and it'll take out the right of way, so you have a dedicated right of way that's not part of the ownership necessarily. You know, there's all kinds of options that we can do. So,
Well, no, actually, here, because of the way he's subdividing it, the road actually has to be included in the lot areas. It
oh,
can't
okay,
be, it's an
okay,
easement rather than a right of way.
all right. Well, then that's fine too. Um, so yeah. So now, if you let's see, there's do you know how to take a screen capture of this?
Yeah,
Okay. So you can get your image of that if you want to share that with him and show him that that's sort of what we were looking at, compared it to his sketch, didn't know if it needs to line up with the tax parcels, which of course aren't survey accurate, but you know, and it looks like maybe up here in this, you know, say that point right there. I don't know if that's something that you found.
it is. It's a fence post.
Okay, so that's probably, you know, the end of that parcel line over there on that
Yeah,
side,
right.
uh, and all that. So, you know, um, but yeah, I'd call him up for a little clarification, perhaps before
Yeah.
we.
So while I've got you here, let me ask you another question.
Okay,
Uh, and it's about how to use that area formula. Let me just make a drawing here.
okay,
Uh, okay, now say I have a drawing here, and let's say I've got an area here by interior point.
yep, okay,
Well, it's tiny.
just hit enter to finish your command. There you go. Select all of that and change its paper text height to 1 instead of 0.1. There you go.
Okay, it's 450 acres. Now, say I wanted to change it to, were a couple of different, and I tried using this and I could never get it to work properly. It's
Yeah.
the one you were just using, the area,
Adjust areas, keep coming down.
yeah, adjust areas.
Mhm.
Okay, I was trying to use the sliding side area.
Okay, now the thing is, right now you've got this thing, um, this thing, this is a, you know, just two edges. And over here's an edge, and over here's an edge. So you don't have a closed figure to adjust.
I see.
You did, so you can you can either draw, you know, by interior, or you can, you can do this and say trim, and we'll get those, and then you close it, do this join nearest. And now if you look at that and look at its properties, you see, yes, it is closed. So now you can do that. And I'll show you go ahead and do that command you were looking at. So it's adjust areas and you've got, up, back up. Yeah, and so there's your methods, either hinged or sliding side or radial or bearing cutoff, that sort of stuff. So which one did you choose? Sliding side.
Yeah.
Right. So because you've got that close figure, you can use line work as your choice. So that's what you want to choose is line work in your option down there. Now, yeah, and so you can move any of those four sides, it will slide. Okay, so,
Okay, that's the one I wanted to move.
okay, and now it wants to know if you want to keep the original or
Let's
not.
say yes.
Okay. Now define a new line by selected line, another line, angular points, and you want to say by selected line. That's basically what the new line is going to be parallel to that. So you're going to choose that particular.
Selected.
Yeah. All right. So now you need to put in your target area.
Okay, let's just say good grief, that's 20
Now,
million.
well, if you want to use acreage, you can type A for acres.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, see the option on the command line?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so type acres, A for acres.
It's A for acres. And now it wants to know the target area in acres.
Okay, so let's say 500 acres.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
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 So now you've got, this is a separate one, and this is also a separate one. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So if you do that area by closed polyline, we'll just pick this one. And we'll take that and bring it up so you can see it.
Okay.
And of course, if you went smaller, it would have shot it to the left. But that's sliding side, so it keeps that bearing. But if you do a hinge side, it'll hold the corner point and swing it, around that point till it cuts off that amount of area.
Well, let me try that real quick just for laughs.
Okay.
While I've got your handy.
Yep.
Let me try a hinged area. Okay, I'm gonna pick line work.
Well, that's your 500.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so there's that. So that's going to be the corner point you're going to swing by. All right, now you can go ahead and keep your existing or not and enter your target area in acres.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Now, but you have to answer one more question. Do you want to draw that as a closed polyline or just draw the line that you created? So you could do either way. Okay, and now if you look at that area, you'll see that and do the area by closed polyline. You'll see that it's 400 exactly. Or 450, whatever you typed in. Yeah, there it is.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, that solves the mystery. I had double the time getting that to work. Well, I never did get it to work.
Yeah, and it's so you can do it if you don't have closed polyline. You can still do it if you choose the option by points, but then you got to click on each point and go around the figure, and it's sort of easier to go ahead and create a temporary closed polyline to get the line work done and then do it that way.
Okay, so you shoot me something for
So
Thursday?
Thursday at what time you want to go? 9?
Sure.
All right, sir. I will do that. I will stop our recording.